I am Morris, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for SilverNeedle Hospitality. And the previous two presenters have really been family businesses that have evolved into today. And I'm here today to talk about a hotel management company that actually had its roots as a family business as well. SilverNeedle is actually owned by the Nottador family, and for those of you that know about the Nottadors, they were actually the father was actually one of the 8 founders of Infosys in India. And post his retirement, he basically started an investment fund, of which SilverNeedle was one of the companies that he had funded. And Anand Nottador, who is the CEO of the company, is also the son, and he basically runs SilverNeedle, and I'm lucky enough to basically start working for him about a year ago as a chief marketing officer. So my responsibility in the company is a little bit broader than just marketing the way you think about it. For the company overall, we think design is a fundamental core part of our business strategy, and marketing ends up becoming a core part of the design strategy overall. So as a marketer here, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how it is that we use the discipline of marketing in the design process so that we're able to create really unique experiences that enable us to deliver on extraordinary customer experiences around the world. So before I get into what exactly we do at SilverNeedle in terms of leveraging marketing in the design process, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on me. So I've been a designer, a product designer, a user experience designer, basically my entire professional career. I started designing software for Microsoft for about 10 years. And then I went over to Polo Ralph Lauren, and I was designing their website, for Ralph Lauren, so that we were able to do e-commerce online and sell clothes. And it's very interesting because at Microsoft, it's very much a data-driven type of design process, right? In order for me to basically be able to get my features done inside the context of software, I have to do a lot of market study, I have to do a lot of focus groups, I have to basically test it, I have to sit behind these one-way mirrors to see how people are responding to my prototype. And then, eventually, basically the design gets approved, and then the software engineers will go ahead and code it. It's a fairly evolved process. And I have to say, early on, I wasn't very good at it, right? I remember in my first year at Microsoft, I had a senior manager who looked at one of my designs during a review and just basically said to me, "Your design is shit." And so you kind of learn as you go along how to make your design not as shitty and make it better. And eventually he helped me win an award on that design, of which the context of it is still inside Microsoft Office today. And it's this notion of wizards, okay, whereby we ask you a bunch of questions and then we go ahead and create complex things for you in the form of charts or reports or whatnot. So that was something that basically had its origin back in the early 90s when I first started. Then I went over to Polo, and Polo was really different. Polo was not really a market-driven design company. Polo is what I would call an aspirational, inspirational design company, right? So, Ralph Lauren basically kind of just get a sense for what people would really like for next year, and he goes ahead and he designs it. And half of the times he's right, and then the other quarter of the time he's kind of okay, and then the other quarter of the time it's a complete miss, right? But Polo, being a publicly traded company, right, basically has a specific set of responsibilities to its shareholders. And so a lot of the design sensibility that Ralph had, he's had to hone over the years to make sure that it would be a hit so that they were able to deliver a certain return on the shareholders. But Polo today is still very much what I would consider an artisanal design company, in that the main inspirations for the lines still come from Ralph overall. I mean, he's got a bunch of designers, who do market research, but really, if he doesn't like something, it's not going to go out there at all whatsoever. So now, coming back to SilverNeedle, as a hotel company, right, there's a lot of things that you do that are in fact market-driven, okay? You have to look at what your competitors are doing. You have to look and see what they're pricing their rooms at, what is their F&B service offering like, what exactly are they providing to the end consumer to basically win the wallet. But there's a certain portion of it that is inspirational, aspirational, or aspirational, inspirational, in that it comes from the proprietor, it comes from the owner, it comes from the people that are leading the hotel management company to basically envision what a customer experience might be like in the future that a customer cannot articulate today via focus groups, via studies, via market research, and so on and so forth. So as the CMO at SilverNeedle, I basically have to use both my right brain and my left brain. The left brain basically looks at market data on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis, to see how the bookings are coming, what do people like, what are people complaining about that we have to do refunds on. And then the right brain basically requires me to go visit museums, galleries, go into neighborhoods to see what people are doing, go actually listen to young people like Generation Z and see what exactly are they doing in their dorm rooms and how are they living in this new funky situation, whereby there's 6 people stacked up in the space of a single room when I'm really used to luxury, big rooms and stuff like that. So anyway, we're kind of coming to the understanding that designing for really, really great user experiences is actually a very interesting way to describe a concept that really is something else. At SilverNeedle, when we kind of think about designing, we're thinking about designing moments, right? Moments that basically we are able to give, that we're able to service, that we're able to create, that we're able to deliver on a consistent basis. We don't really think about designing user experiences because we think it's a little bit too one-sided. We think about designing moments. What could we do when a guest walks in through our door so that we're able to fill their time with us with lots and lots of incredible moments that delightfully surprises them, that are functionally efficient, that basically enables them to have an emotional connection with us. So it comes down to moments. Moment design basically has transformed the way we think about the hospitality business overall, because we're no longer really focused on just the hardware or the software. We're not focused just on what are the walls and the beds and the sheets and the bathrooms, what they're like, or do our staff say bonjour or good morning or ni hao. It's the integration of all of that with the customer being in the middle, right? And it's the moments that we're able to enable and create via everything that we provide that really makes sense. So what does this really mean then? And how have we done this? Well, I have to say, we have some hotels in our portfolio that are just hotels, right? And they're priced at a point whereby you basically would kind of say, I want to stay in this hotel because it's a great value for money. But Next Hotel was our first hotel whereby we were trying to flip the model to say, what are the moments that we would want to enable when a guest walks through our door? And what could we do to make those moments as many as possible and as delightfully surprising as possible? So to help us get there, thank goodness we all have a technical background. So we kind of thought technology was a really great enabler for us to be able to enable these moments in an efficient manner, in a manner whereby we were able to deliver the experience in a consistent way overall. And then layered on top of it, we threw in some of the stuff that you would normally expect from hotels, but then we stripped away a lot of stuff out of the way. In a way, we kind of detoxify service, okay? So for example, when guests arrive, we want them to just be able to go up to their room. Sometimes they arrive and they're tired and they don't want to deal with anybody. They don't want to deal with a long queue. They don't want to deal with someone that stands there and smiles and says, how was your flight? Right? And so what we do is we enable you to have check-in using your smartphone, right? And so when you kind of think about it from an operational point of view, Why is that so difficult? Well, it is really difficult if you don't have the right infrastructure within your hotel system, right? But that was something that we basically created up front. We wanted your arrival moment, if you will, to be as seamless as possible. We don't want you to have to see a smiley face when all you really want to see is a pillow, right? And so we went about and looked at the guest experience moment by moment, and we tried to figure out what could we do to optimize it in such a way so that we were able to be efficient and to be delightfully surprising. There are a lot of other things. For example, the way you get onto Wi-Fi. For example, the way you are able to basically control your TV or the lighting in the room, set the temperature, and all those things that are, in effect, can be technology enabled in such a way so as to create a much more seamless experience. And we started to think about all these moments that someone would spend in the room, and we started to basically optimize for them. Not for what we had, but for what we could do to make their time there as efficient and as painless as possible, as hassle-free as possible. So that was really the concept of the next hotel. We have one, it's in Brisbane. We have a whole bunch in the pipeline. People seem to really like the ideas a lot. The hotel has won a lot of awards for being the best business hotel for business travelers because it's so efficient overall. But that really, for us, is just a prelude to something bigger. It's just a prelude to something bigger. Walt Disney said, right, you can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to turn your dream into reality. So it is a motto that we really think about, particularly in the hotel business overall, which is, what is the dream that we're able to paint? And how do we convert it into reality? And how do the people and the systems and the walls and the properties all fit together to create this magical thing? I would not say that we have figured it out. Okay, I would say that it's a work in progress, right? If I already figured it out, I probably would have been in the keynote today. But anyway, we haven't figured it out yet. And we are, however, in the process of trying to figure this out, not for people like me anymore. And not even for those of you that are out there that are Generation Y. We've skipped ahead. We're now currently working on a new concept, which is for Generation Z, right? And if we think Y are different from X, Zs are more different than X or Y, right? So the Gen Zs are the generation that's coming up, 20 and younger, that will soon really be an even bigger generation than Generation Ys. A lot of things that you're hearing about, co-working, co-living, these are all experiential stuff that will translate itself into communal moments amongst people that are in these spaces. So what we're in the midst of doing right now is a huge project that probably will have some of the spaces opening up in the next 12 months or so. They're very much targeted at this idea of a communal moment, of your ability to not only have singular moments, which is what we've been designing as hoteliers for many, many years, but what does it mean to have communal moments? What does it mean when I start interacting with you in a space? What does it mean when I start interacting with you in a space, but you don't know me and I don't know you? But I kind of want to get to know you and you kind of want to get to know me, right? And so whether that's going to succeed or not, we don't know. But there are a couple things that we have figured out. One is that you got to bring marketing in, right? Design can no longer live in an isolated box if it's central to your corporate strategy. And the way we go about doing it at SilverNeedle is we think about the 4 Ps of marketing. We go back to the basics. What is the product trying to do and what are its differentiators? Are there enough differentiators for you to be able to promote it and communicate it to the rest of the world so that it's interesting? Is there enough differentiation for you to set the right price for it so you get a premium for the experience that you're building? And then finally, will your product, when it's distributed on third-party channels, will it stand out? Does it have a chance? It all comes back to design because you have to design something unique and differentiate it. But you must take these other 3 things into account because a beautiful product today doesn't necessarily sell. But a beautiful product today that provides a specific value that is of benefit to your intended customer that will sell. And I'm going to go back to the family again. Infosys in the 90s basically created value in the Indian market overall, right? By enabling a bunch of Indians to have a middle-class job by being a technical resource for companies all around the world. The family is about creating value. Creating value, they firmly believe, when we create value in the market, when you create value for your partners, when you create value for your country, when you create value for your customers, you will win. You will win. And the modern version of how that affects me is that we need to create moments that create value for our customers. Beautiful moments are meaningless if they don't create value. Valuable moments that effectively enable someone's lives to be better are beautiful in and of themselves. So I'm going to leave you with one final quote, which is from my old employer, Ralph Lauren. He says, "I don't design clothing. I design dreams." Right? And so from our standpoint, we don't design hotels. We design moments. Thank you very much.